KILR Killer Game.
Hello, gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer, and welcome back to the tour around the world featuring Sublogic Flight Simulator 2 for the Commodore 64. This one, right here. I did a game review of this, actually, on my channel. So if you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. But anyway, we are nearing the end of the map that we're on, and we're going to be going into some new exciting territory. So let's go ahead and talk about that. That sounds like good mythical morning. Let's talk about that. Something's going on with the altimeter here. Look at this. It's moving like a clock. It should not do that. So we're going to do the Alt or Tab B there to set that. There was something weird kind of going on right there. But all right, let me go and just pull up the map information here. Okay, so here is the map, one of three actually of scenery disc number 9. That is something that I failed to mention on previous flights, that this map here is, this whole map here is not just scenery disc number 9. It's just a Chicago area. There's two other areas, so there's still a lot of scenery. But we are here at Kokomo Municipal, and we're going to be going here to Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne Municipal, Baer Field. It doesn't look like it's going to be that long of a flight, but this is kind of a big deal because after this, we're going to be continuing going east. And this is the edge of scenery disc number 9, which means we're going to be going into a whole new scenery disc on Commodore 64. Can you believe it? Did you think that we would ever get out of this area? Well, we are. All right, so well, the Fort Wayne VOR is 117.8, so that's simple enough to tune in. And if we take a look at all of our coordinates and statistics and all that other good stuff, right over here is our, we have ATIS information. We also have, oh, you can't see it. Let me just move it down here a little bit. Okay, so here's our ILS here, 109.9 on runway 32. And then 121.25 is the ATIS information. And this other one is the VASI. So runway 23 has got the VASI lights, which we don't care about. We're going to use the ILS, so we're going to use runway 32. So we're going to need to come in from the south side. This little angular, I think you can see it, yeah. Right here. Oh no, you can't really see it very well, can you? Let me see if I can move that screen. I'm like highlighting stuff and I don't think you can actually see it. There we go. Now I think you can actually see it. So yeah, this is where we're going. And whoa, that was not what I wanted to do. So this runway right here, runway 32, is what we're going to be taking. So I'm thinking if we take off from Kokomo and head at a heading of 7. 07. Yeah, that's not bad. We'll leave at a vector of 070 from Kokomo. We'll keep Fort Wayne tuned in so we have an idea of how far away it is. And we'll tune in the ILS and stuff along the way. So that way we know when we're close enough to tune into it. And now that we got all of that information out of the way, let's go ahead and get ready for our flight. Now, I think we'll have enough fuel for the flight. It's not very far. We can refuel this by going to the menu and coming out. It automatically refills it. Just kind of a bummer, you know, if you're wanting to make some changes and stuff. But let's see if we can get there without any fuel, or with fuel, but, you know, without refueling, because there's a fuel box there at Fort Wayne, and it's I think it's kind of fun when you do all this flying and you finally get to an airport that has a fuel box. It's kind of like, yes, finally. Kind of like the flying. It's kind of like, yes, he's finally started the plane. The plane. All right. Let's go ahead and get moving here. We're going to go to the end of this runway and we'll take off. Seems good enough. Whoop. That's what happens when you run out of speed. You stop turning. Whoa. Okay. No. I'm getting my keys mixed up here. It's hard to get used to because the Commodore 64 didn't have a numerical keypad. So all the keys are right in the center of the bread box. That's what we called it, a bread box. So yeah, if you're trying to get into the Commodore 64 Flight Simulator, it's a little bit to get used to. Yeah, we haven't even set our radios and stuff yet. That's okay. I think we'll be fine. We'll figure it out when we get up. Alright, we're up in the air. As tradition says, wave goodbye to our friends in Kokomo. Nice meeting ya. Nice talking with ya. Now it's time to move on. Alright, let's go ahead. Radio 1 is already set, but I want to... Oh, well, helps if I use the right keyboard. We were saying 070, I believe. We'll go ahead and make a coordinated turn here. Getting ourselves focused here. We want to go to the right of 70. We're almost there. I think a heading of 080 will do it. Come on. Just move move over just a little bit. That's not too bad. Oh, wait a minute. We're right back where we started. Hold on. I'm trying to get to 080 on my heading. Okay. That's more like it. That's whereabouts where I was trying to get to. Okay, well now that we got that set up, let's go ahead and change nav 2 and make it the same as nav 1, because I'm going to be changing things around here as far as radios. Because we only got one DME for one radio, so we're going to use that for Fort Wayne. Okay, we're set there. Just take a look behind us at the very least amount of scenery that we're going to have here, but there is the Kokomo, was it Municipal? Yeah, Kokomo Municipal Airport with Kokomo there in the background, or behind that. And really, nothing else here in front of us. We'll be seeing some more scenery, though, a little bit later, but for right now, it's just going to be green. Green grass and trees and, you know, use your imagination. Don't worry, I'm watching this thing. I'm trying to adjust the trim, and so it's a little finicky as far as how it goes up and down. Okay, Fort Wayne 117.8. We'll go ahead and tune that in here. 43.8 miles away. And I know the runway was 32, so I don't think we have to worry about that too much. Takes a little bit. Whoop. All right, we're set. It looks like our OBS number 2. Looks like the indicator is moving, so we should be intersecting the 070 radio here in just a little bit. Move to the left here just a tad. I always thought it was annoying with the magnetic compass when it sits there and goes 74, 75, 74, you know, it goes back and forth like that. And then when you try to adjust your gyro compass here, it's like 74, 75, 74. So you can catch it on either one. We'll use the rudder to slide ourselves over to 070 once we're close, once we're on that heading. And then we don't need this anymore. We can change this. We'll change this to the ILS just so that we know that when we get close enough, this will activate and we'll know we can switch it over to nav 1. That's the only reason. I'd like to know how far away from an airport I am, if possible, and at least we can find out with the nav1 information. Yeah, see, we got some scenery. We got a interstate, which I believe that there itself is going to lead to Fort Wayne. Pull up a real map here. And that way you can all see. Okay, so Kokomo is right here where my mouse is at, where I'm moving. So Fort Wayne is right up here. So that road we're seeing is the 69, the I-69. So that will be going all the way to Fort Wayne. I just adjusted the I had just adjusted the gyro compass to match the magnetic compass, and within like 3 seconds it went to 7-1. So a little unrealistic, I think, when it comes to the flight simulator, because I don't think, at least in the later ones, I don't think they really go off that much. Not that quickly, anyway. But we're looking good here. I think we still got plenty of fuel. We got 35 miles to go. Looks like we're somewhat leveled off there at close to 3,500 feet. Going up just slightly, but that's okay. It's not very fast. So, what do we do in the meantime? Oh, you know what? We don't need... That's right, we don't need nav1 anymore. I'll tell you what we do. We'll look up the ILS information again. That's what we'll do. Fort Wayne. Alright, 109.9. Let's look up ATIS, too. ATIS is 121.25. Okay, not close enough yet. 121.25 is ATIS, so we'll set at 121.20 for the moment. Well, actually, we could tune that into 2.5, couldn't we? Because sometimes when you get close enough, it automatically starts pulling the ATIS message up. And then sometimes you have to tune off and then turn it back on in order for it to work. Fort Wayne, Indiana. My goodness. Did anyone think that we would ever get this far? I'm not even sure which episode this is at the moment. I think it's like episode 32, 33. So we got many, many more places that we can go to, that we can go and fly to also. So the adventure is not over, not by a long shot. I intend to keep this adventure going as long as I possibly can. Alright, let's go and do a little bit of reading inside of our pilot's operating handbook and airplane flight manual. We are under Other Instruments. Okay, so right here is your magnetic compass. The instrument, or this instrument, appears at the top of the panel above the radios. This is a standard magnetic compass. It looks like one. It is assumed to be magnetically correct and requires no correction card to interpret. The compass is subject to isogenic effects, variations in true versus magnetic north. Omni-bearing indicator. So, like I've seen these called OBIs and OBSs. In this case, they call it an omni-bearing indicator, an OBI. This is with a glide slope. That's what this one has here. This is a navigation and landing approach instrument that is used in conjunction with the nav radio here and the VOR stations. We saw that on the map. This instrument and its operation will be explained in the world navigation section. A second omni-bearing indicator, right here, with no glide slope is provided. Two nav radios and omni-bearing indicators are useful in navigation and greatly simplify instrument flight. Absolutely. Looks like that tuned in there. Yeah, because with Flight Simulator 1, for the Microsoft Flight Simulator 1, it only has one nav radio. One nav radio and one OBI. And you can't, it's not like you can do a cross-check. You can, I mean, you would tune into one, you'd find a map, you'd find one radio and do a from that and draw a line, and then you would tune into another radio and center it on from and draw a line from that, and you'll be able to find out where you're at. But having two makes it a lot easier. And on the old simulators, I've done this a lot to find out whereabouts I'm at on the map, because hey, there's no GPS. There is a map on here. I mean, there is a like an overhead view, but it only displays so much, and even so, sometimes that isn't very helpful. Clock. Your clock is right here where it says time. This is a standard digital clock that measures hours, minutes, and seconds. This clock runs in real time. Under the 1982 Federal Aviation Regulations, a digital presentation qualifies for IFR flight in lieu of an analog sweep second-hand clock. Lights indicator, right here, lights. This indicator tells whether the aircraft's lights are on or off. Well, that only affects the dash. It doesn't really affect anything else. Magneto's indicator. This indicator shows the condition of the magneto switch. Right here, mags. It's going to be off, right, left, both, or start. It's on B for both. Card heat indicator, which is the CH right here. This indicator indicates indicator whether the carburetor heat is turned on or off. When off, the letter CH appear. When on, the word heat appears in orange letters. When I was a kid playing this, I just thought it was just a heater. It's like, oh, it's cold, it's winter, let me turn on the heater. That's what I thought it was for. OMI lights. So that is right here. Ami. These indicators are the outer, middle, and inner marker lights that are used on instrument approaches. It seems very rarely do I come across one that has an inner. Like, I always see the outer, the middle light up, and very rarely does the inner one light up. Stall light. That's this nasty thing here in the middle. This light is activated when you drop to 5 knots above stall speed. In other words, game over. Most of the time it's game over after that. Engine monitoring instruments. These instruments include the left fuel tank right here, which is getting a little empty. The fuel tank selector indicator, this is a little arrow in the middle. It points to the right or left. We're going to be switching over to the right here in just a moment. And you got the right fuel tank. Then you got the oil pressure gauge right here. L and H stand for low and high. Sorry, right here. The oil temperature for C, cold, H, hot. And then digital tachometer indicates, or tachometer, I don't know. It indicates engine RPM. And the suction gauge indicates vacuum available to operate vacuum-driven gauges. What? What gauge are they talking about there? Item 30. This is interesting. I've not heard of that one. Let me see here. Item 30. Item... Huh. Apparently, item 30 is right here where the CH is at. Oh, but this is not the same, though. No, see, it's got like CH and then SUC next to it. It must have been like an early version of Flight Simulator 2, but take a look at this picture here. You see the CH there on the bottom? You see the RPMs? And then it's got the suction right next to it. So this must be like an older, or like a maybe like a pre-release version before they released this one. That's interesting. All right, well, that'll be it for reading. We are 20 miles away from the airport. We passed over the interstate right there. So the airport is going to be off over here in this direction. We're basically coming around so that way we can land on runway 32. Changing OBI number 2. Now it says off. When that turns on and says on, then we know that we're within our ILS, and then we can go ahead and change nav1 to match. been a long journey. We still have a long ways to go. Oh, we have to change the fuel. I forgot about that. So tab F. There we go. You'll see that the arrow is now pointing to the right tank. Now you can set the mixture on this. I never really messed with it, but the mixture would come in handy, obviously, if you want to make your fuel last longer. I'll do that, obviously, in the newer simulators, but on this one, not so sure. That's kind of like why I like going through the old manuals, because we may be able to read and pick up on a few things. Ah, good. Nav VOR number 2 has activated. Do you see that? So we can go ahead and start changing everything to match on nav number 1. Okay, 15 miles to go. Wayne, Indiana. It's going to be a bit before the other simulators get to this point. I'm meaning like Flight Simulator 4 on up, because they're going out of the country and then we'll be coming back down, and then they'll catch up with these flights that we're doing right here. It's going to be really neat getting back to this and actually seeing the flights to Benton Harbor and Battle Creek and Grand Rapids, Elkhart, and seeing South Bend and Kokomo and Fort Wayne, you know, and eventually getting to Flight Simulator 2020 and being able to see all these places like that too. That's why I like being able to fly these simulators and all the different, you know, the same flight plan and all the different simulators, just because it's kind of cool to see, oh, this is what it looked like in this simulator, and now we're seeing it in this one, and just neat comparisons, I think. But also, you know, there are people out there that want to watch, you know, a tour from one place to another, and they may be interested in one particular simulator, but not others. So, by doing the same flight on all the simulators, it's pretty much no one's being left out, you know. So, if I'm doing something on the Commodore 64, but I'm not doing it on Microsoft Flight Simulator 3, even though the scenery is pretty much the same, you know, the FS3 folks are feeling left out. And no, I want to be able to do this for all of them. And for a while, I wasn't even sure if I was going to do one on Flight Simulator 95, because the graphics are pretty much in between FS5 and FS98. I didn't really think there was much purpose to it, but you know, again, there are people that have fond memories of Flight Simulator 95 because that could have been their very first simulator. So I reconsidered that and got it and installed it and started doing the world tour with that one as well. Keep an eye on our DME here. If we're still going down, if it's still going down in distance, and I'm wondering if we're going to start, because see, it's sitting at 13.6 at the moment. I think we're going to need to turn a little bit. Aha! Fort Wayne Municipal Information, Foxtrot, 1900 Zulu weather, visibility 10. Altimeter 29.95, landing on runway departing 4. It always seems to be 4. We're not taking 4. We're going to land on runway 32. Okay, I think this right here is the airport. This little white line down here. That's our wing, in case you're wondering. Let's go ahead and start making a turn here. Yeah, it went from 13.6 to 13.7. So we want to change our course here a little bit. May not be too bad of a vector. There, you can see the brown there of the city, Fort Wayne. So everything is right there. I'm going to continue making a turn here. If we head north at 0 degrees, we won't have this sharp turn from 040 to 320. And it looks like we may have to do that right now. The needles are moving very quickly too. It looks like I planned this out pretty good, though. We're about 11 miles away from the airport. We're starting to get ourselves centered up here on the ILS. This is a pretty good distance, I think. I'm going to go ahead and lower 1 degree flaps here. And our glide slope indicator just moved now too. I'm going to lower another thing of flaps because we're still sitting at about 100 knots. I want to try to land with that. It's a little better. I'm concentrating, don't worry. I'm speechless because I'm concentrating. Getting to the fuel box will be a relief. I always liked that when you had like long flying and your tanks are nearly empty and you get to an airport, it's got a fuel box and you stop inside, it fills everything up, and it's like, oh, that was like such an accomplishment. 7.8 miles away from the airport. We're pretty near the glide slope though. There. Trying to give us a good rate of descent. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that glide slope indicator. And we can start turning to the left a little bit, I think. Just a little bit. And something tells me the glide slope indicator just disappeared. Oh, wait a minute. No, I think it's centered. I think that's why I can't see it. Yeah, that's what it was. Let's see it now. All I saw was dotted lines at first. .8 miles to go. bit off there. Alright, we are on our way in here. 4.6 miles. It's our outer marker. And just think, this is before autopilot, and and being able to tell your autopilot to lock into the ILS. And this is all done manually here. Yeah, if you want a challenge in flight simulation, try flying one of these. Although flying a jetliner in something like FSX or P3D or X-Plane is a whole challenge on itself, too. I done it on FS9. I got a video out on that. I do intend to get some out on X-Plane and stuff. It's just a matter of time and practice. I have not done an airline yet on X-Plane. We are coming in for a landing. It looks like we're a little off center there, just a little bit. All right. Final spot. Here we go. Come on. There we go. All right, we are down on the ground. We are landed. Full stop there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map here. And and see where that fuel box is at. Ah, there's the fuel box right over there in the corner. Very good. So we'll just go ahead and continue forward here. Okay. I wasn't sure if we passed that other runway or not. There's the fuel box. Yeah, we'll just taxi here on the grass. Now make sure you keep an eye on those fuel gauges, because this is the most exciting part right here. There it goes. I'm like, come on, come on. So there we go. We are full. We have all tanks filled, and we are going to be ready for our next flight. Go ahead and turn that off there. So yeah, here we are at Fort Wayne, Indiana, and like I said, this is the edge of the Scenery Disc number 9 map disc. We're not done with Scenery Disc number 9. We still have a couple of other areas to check out, the St. Louis area and the Cincinnati area. But we're going to be going into Scenery Disc number 11 for this for the next flight that's going to be coming. So exciting stuff, exciting stuff. So if you're not subscribed, be sure that you subscribe and click that notification bell so that way you know when the next video is uploaded to the channel. And Twitch, follow me on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/KillerGamer. As I'm recording, there will be some episodes that I'll be streaming, some I won't, but I try to stream on a regular schedule. So if you'd like to be with me while I'm flying live and interact and chat and stuff, that'd be great. I'd love to chat with you. So be sure to head over there and follow me. And hey, you might be part of the show. And you'll be able to see all of this footage and episodes way ahead before they're actually edited and put onto the channel. Then there's social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. So again, thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next leg of our journey. Have a killer morning, day, and night.